HeyHiHello Team, my name is Monique. Welcome to the Cauldron. Welcome back to Bookwitch Reviews. Today we're going to do a wrap up of my January books. I read 6 books in January. Yes, I like counting on my fingers. Let's move on. I only have 1 physical copy because most of the books that I read in January were ARCs or on my library app, which is amazing. But also I really need to read some actual physical books in February because I miss having them in my hands. But let's get to it, shall we? First off, we have The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. This book is an urban fantasy book following Paige Mahoney, who is basically a rusher for the clairvoyant mafia, which lives in the sort of London underground, and she's quite high up in that. But the beginning of the book sort of starts off with Paige killing a man and getting into trouble with the local authorities. So quite fast from, like, I think it's the 3rd or 4th chapter, we take Paige out of her regular environment and put her into somewhere completely different. And I don't want to ruin it, but it took a complete turn. I gave it 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. Samantha Shannon is one of the authors that I picked up for the first time in 2019, and I absolutely adore Priory of the Orange Tree. I really liked The Bone Season. It is not up there with my favorite, which is why it's only 4 stars. It does have some very intense pacing. It's very dark and gritty, and it's very unapologetic in a lot of ways, which I absolutely love. And there's also like a good amount of flashbacks, but it is really hard to follow who all of the characters are in some ways. Some of them have like similar names. The clairvoyancy system is very confusing, but I think that may have had something to do with the fact that I read it on ebook and not in a physical copy, because apparently there is a glossary in the back. But however, that brings us to the 2nd book that I read in January, which is a novella which is called The Pole Dreamer, which is a prequel almost to The Bone Season, and it actually explains a little bit about how Paige came to be part of like this underground mafia clairvoyancy system, and also sort of explains more about like the levels of clairvoyancy. I gave it 3 stars because I thought it was like nice, but I can also see the fact that I love long books. It makes me more a part of it, and the pacing was a little bit off for me. But I am very excited. This The Bone Season series already have 2 other books out, which I plan to pick up quite soon, I hope. And then a 4th book, which may or may not be coming out in 2020. So we are pumped. My 3rd book of the month is Storm Cursed by Patricia Briggs, which is I think it's the 11th book in the Mercy Thompson series. And if you have seen my 20 years of reading video, which I will link down below, you may or may not have heard me mention Patricia Briggs before. She is part of like the urban fantasy sort of area, which I lived in firmly in my teens, and you could not make me get out of it. But so when I saw this on NetGalley, I jumped at it. I really enjoyed reading it. It is very much like a part of a series. Like, you get involved in the characters, and then the plot is like less important. I don't know how much of it I can talk about without like spoiling it, but basically Mercy Thompson is a were-coyote. She has some magic abilities. She is the mate of an alpha of a werewolf pack, and we have gotten to the point in this series now where apparently the magical beings of like their reality is now out to humankind, and there are also some fae in there. And I just sort of thought, I've given it 2.5 stars because I did enjoy being a part of it, and like I enjoyed reading it, and I read it quite fast. But I did find that the plot was a bit all over the place, and sort of the premise of the book didn't actually match up with where I ended up at the end, which was just a little bit like to me. Storm Cursed will be out later this year, or might already be out. I can't remember now. I'm gonna put it down below the thing. Here it is. Okay, so next up we got my first 5-star book of January, and it is a short story which I am not normally a huge fan of, and it is gorgeous. It is The Empress of Salt and Fortune by Nhi Wo. I'm going to put the pub date down below. It is literally one of the most gorgeous things I have ever read. It is a short story about monarchy and the anger of women. It is feminist, it is hard-hitting. There is a gender-fluid historian running around trying to find out what used to happen, and it is literally just so beautiful. I can't go too far into detail because I don't want to ruin it for you, but I literally read this in, I think, maybe a day. and then I cried. Yeah, it's gorgeous. It's just, it has these quotes where I'm literally like, I can barely contain myself, and I must have it soon. Please read it. It's really good. Up on my list is The Last Smile in Sunday City by Luke Arnold. This is a grimdark, sort of a private eye book about a world where magic is real, or it used to be, because we start the book off by following our main character, who apparently has something to do with the fact that magic disappeared, and it is killing all of these magical creatures that are also part of his world. It is very much, I kept expecting to like watch it as a movie, and it would be like black and white, and there'd be a femme fatale, and he's a private detective, and I liked it. I didn't love it. This book, 3 stars. I thought it was interesting. It definitely had some aspects of it that I was super interested in. I love magical like beings, and I love that sort of like dynamics between humankind and the magical. And I thought it was really interesting that like magic had died out and how it was killing these creatures. But I did not like our main character. He felt to me like he kept telling us that he was a bad person, and then that was just who he was. I didn't think it was like new in that sense. I didn't very much felt like he was just sort of like sad for himself. And I guess that's the sort of character that would write these sort of like memoir written books. And I'm just like, it was okay, which is why I had 3 stars. I didn't hate it. I read it. It was, yeah, well, okay. Also, the pub date will be down below. Last but not least, I read The Light of the Bottom of the World by London Shaw. This is a young adult debut from a English Muslim author. The cover is stunning, and I really wanted to love it. And here's why I didn't. And I feel bad because I want to support diverse authors, and it hurts me when I'm super excited about the book. And basically this is set like the whole world is underwater, and we live in like submarines and underneath, and everything is about like getting us back up to the surface. Lila McQueen, who is the main character, is looking for her dad, who has been wrongfully imprisoned, and she sort of goes on an adventure. And I read the first chapter and was like stoked because there's like an underwater race, and I thought it had more to do with that, and it has more just to do with hope and like finding a light in the darkness, which is important. But maybe I'm not really into YA lately, and it was too slow. There's a bit of a romance, and the romance I'm just kind of like, sure, okay, and it annoys me. It annoys me that I didn't love it because I was so set on loving it, and it took me so long to read because I started this off as my first book of the year, and I only finished it like 2 days ago because I kept reading other books in between because I was just like not excited. And that's really annoying. So all in all, I didn't feel like this was like the best start to January ever. I loved the Empress of Salt and Fortune and really enjoyed the Bone season. And then I've just had the in-between books that are just kind of like, yeah, sure, that's like fine. That's how I feel. That's how I feel about 3-star books. They are okay. Mainly, okay, so here we're going to go into like my system for a moment. Okay, so basically we have 5-star, wow, magic, amazing, I love it, I want to read it every year for the rest of my life. 4-star, absolutely great, maybe has some character issues or some plot issues, or I didn't like the pacing, and that's like all like that's like fine too. 3 stars is like, I'm starting to get a little bit bored. I will most likely never pick this book up again if it has a series, unless it has like one character that I absolutely adore in it. I most likely won't continue. 2 stars is massive plot issues or characters that I just don't feel like I can follow at all. It's problematic or something, and a 1 star is something that I wish I'd DNF'd and I just didn't. Okay, so there is my like little thing. So I'm hoping February will give me that. I am about 75% into the Sisters Grimm, which I believe has just come out. Or it's coming out on the 6th of February. I'm reading it as an e-arc, and I am excited for it to be over. That's basically it, and I'm sad about it. So we're gonna end it on this sad note, and I'm gonna go. But thank you so much for watching, team. I'm super excited for the upcoming month. I'm gonna do a ton of reading, I hope, and rate it much higher. Arcs, please be nice to me, okay? I'm trying to read you and you're not making it easy. Anyways, if you enjoyed this, give it a big thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button so you can see more of my glorious face, because I am trying to put up videos at least twice a week. And then I will see you all soon. Goodbye. And thank you, God bless.